Oh boy, the new trailer. I think it hasn't been since this year's E3 that we've gotten so much information all at once, and I'm not complaining. On the contrary, I love it, because this allows me to make some more videos again, and that is exactly what I have for you today. A new video where I break down every bit of the new gameplay trailer that was just released. So grab your popcorn and let's get started. The very first thing we see in this trailer is the big wide overview of Manhattan, which is actually almost the exact same shot that we've seen 1 year ago in the cinematic trailer, only this time it is not CGI, but it is the real game. The camera pans down, we get some more gameplay shots, and we get to see a few of the cinematic cutscenes that are in the game. And for those who don't know, yes, they originally did plan to not add cutscenes to the game, but they recently confirmed that the game will now have cutscenes. And then, after a couple more cinematic shots, we get to this, a shot what is, with 100% certainty, the Manhattan Bridge, meaning that it was taken from this place on the map, pretty much implying that Brooklyn is still in the game. I've said in a few of my previous videos that I believe that Brooklyn will not be in the final game, and if it is, that it will not be anything more than a starting area or a tutorial area, so to speak. And after seeing this footage, I still believe that this is the case. I still believe that Brooklyn will be something that we could compare to North Yankton from GTA 5, and I have very good reasons for this, which I unfortunately cannot share right now because of the NDA. This is just a shot of the Manhattan Bridge, so take from it what you want. Moving on, we arrive at the first big topic, the base of operations. For the first time ever, we get to see how it looks from the inside, and man, it's pretty big. My understanding from it is that in this base we have 3 major wings that need to be restored. The medical wing, the technology wing, and the security wing, and they all start off at a 0%. These 3 names, medical, technology, and security, are very familiar because when looking at both the skill menu and the talent menu, we can see that a certain percentage needs to be achieved in each category before that skill or talent can be unlocked. For example, 10% on the security to unlock the sticky bomb, and 30% on the technology to unlock the auto turret. So as you build up your base, you will progress your character at the same time. Now, I'm not sure exactly how you upgrade your base, but I think it works as following. In order to upgrade a wing, you will need special supplies for that wing. You can see that by the supplies logo right there. And in order to get these supplies, you will need to complete special missions. If we take a look at the map that was released recently in another video, you can see that the security, the medical, and the technology logos return in the form of mission icons. And I believe that these missions will provide you with supplies that you can then use to upgrade your base. The base itself has a big total of 30 things that you can upgrade, so I'm thinking that is Temper Wing, and a couple of examples of these upgrades can even be seen in the trailer, like the control room in the technology wing or the K9 unit in the security wing. These upgrades all sound very cool, but I don't believe that we actually get to use these things ourselves. We are already getting access to a new skill or a new talent every time that we upgrade our base. So for now, I would like to say that these upgrades in the base are mostly for the appearance and the immersion. Moving away from the base of operations, we get to take another look at the combat and the weapon customization. The player here is doing a bounty hunt mission where he has to take out a group of Rikers, but there are a couple of things that I want to point out here. And the first thing is this guy. This guy has a purple health bar instead of a red one and has 6 little white blocks on top of that. So what does that mean? Well, I think the reason that his health bar is purple is because he is currently your main objective. You can see in the top right corner that it is Iceman's first lieutenant and that you have to kill him. The 6 little white blocks above the health bar is what I believe to be armor. You can see that when the Seeker Mine explodes, everybody loses some health, except for that guy. And even after taking some more shots, the lieutenant is still fine. He's still at full health. Instead of losing his health bar, he lost a bit of armor. And if you look very closely, you can even see that the most right block is a little bit smaller and a little more faded away than the other 5, showing that he indeed takes some damage on his armor. This means that you will have to burst through all of these armor pieces before you can actually take him down. One last thing that I want to mention is that instead of a level right next to their health bar like we have seen in footage released recently, these guys have a danger icon with a skull in it. I actually do not know what this means, but later into the fight we actually can see the level on the second lieutenant, who is level 18. Oh, and by the way, napalm grenades are confirmed. Time to turn the tables and become a cleaner yourself. then the battle is over. But we aren't done yet, because the next thing we're seeing is the inventory menu with a couple of weapons. Now, I won't go over all the individual names, but there's one thing that stood out to me, and that is that this weapon has a talent to it, which reads, critical hits increase the signature skill resources by 1%. So every time that you get a critical hit with this weapon, your signature skill will be just a bit stronger. Now, you might be asking, what is a signature skill? And don't worry, I got you covered, but before we move on to that topic, I want to point out a few more things here, because we're not done yet. First up, in the top you can see the 3 attributes that we talked about a little while ago. Basically, more firearms means more damage, more stamina means more health, and more electronics means stronger skills. But I'll go more in depth into that in a future video. Another thing that I wanted to point out is that they changed the names for the rarity tiers. The color blue used to be called rare, but now they changed it to specialized, probably to fit the theme of the game a bit more. After that, we get a quick look at some of the scopes, like the reflex sight and the 12x zoom scope. And for those who wanted to know it for such a long time, yes, you can go into first person when you're using a scope that zooms in. They show it at the end of the trailer, and this finally proves it. There you go, there you have your answer. Then we get a couple of cinematic shots again until we see this room full of other players. Now, because we know you can only be in a squad with up to 4 players, I'm expecting this room to either be in the dark zone or in a social hub. But I'm leaning more towards a social hub because everyone has their weapon on their backs and the area doesn't really seem to be tailored towards cover-based combat. And also, there's a vendor in the back. And who knows, maybe it's a social hub inside the dark zone. Maybe it's both. After that, we get to the real action. And although a lot of stuff is going on here, the only new thing that I picked up from this is the deployable cover. I'm pretty sure it is a skill, and if I had to guess, I would say that it is the second skill in the security branch. I don't know exactly how it works, but I think because you cannot use this while moving, like you can with the ballistic shield, it would only make sense that this thing is a lot stronger and can maybe even give some boosts to anyone behind it. But again, not sure about that. After a full minute of cinematic combat scenes on both locations we've seen before and locations that are completely new to us, it is time to talk about the signature skills, as I promised. Now, the signature skills are the skills that can be assigned to both the left bumper and the right bumper at the same time. These skills will be placed in between the other two and will have a much longer cooldown, but they will also be much more game-changing than any of the normal skills. The one that you see right now on the screen seems to do a couple of things. First up, it revives every downed ally in the area and sets them back to almost full health. But on top of that, the players who aren't down seem to get a second health bar above their normal one. This tells me that certain healing skills can be used to provide extra health to the one on the receiving end if the skill heals more than the amount of health that they have lost. And I can imagine players are able to chain these together to provide an insanely high health pool for the tank or the DPS player for a couple of seconds, so that they can temporarily become the Terminator. The rest of the squad seems to have different signature skills assigned. Since the one used in this footage is the healing signature skill, I would imagine that the other two are more tank and damage orientated, providing everybody with more speed, more damage resistance, more attack damage, or a bigger critical hit chance, all stuff like that. And I'm really looking forward to see just how powerful these things can get. To finish it off, we see a first look at some of the gestures, like holding up your hands in the air to surrender, and something that was seen earlier in this trailer in the social hub area where somebody waves his hand. And while we're at it, I'd also like to point out that Antoine is the only level 5 player in this room, which makes him a big noob.
Shots fired! Shots fired!
And that was my breakdown for now. There are a few topics here and there that I could have talked a little bit more about, but for the sake of the video's length, let's do that another time. Very soon though, so don't worry. As always, I really hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys later, or like they say, in the Netherlands. Zie je later!